The ballroom glittered like a jewelry box turned inside out. Crystal chandeliers caught the light from 100 smartphone cameras, all pointed at the stage where Marcus Holloway stood in a cobalt blue suit that cost more than most people's cars. His smile was practiced perfect, the kind that had graced magazine covers and business school case studies. "Ladies and gentlemen," his voice rolled through the sound system, smooth as aged whiskey. "The future of automotive design." The silk curtain dropped. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The Vector 7 sat under spotlights like a sculpture in a cathedral. Its lines were poetry in metal, curves that suggested motion even in stillness, a profile that made every other car in existence look like a rough draft. Emerald green paint caught the light and held it, luminous and alive. Simone Carter stood near the back, champagne untouched in her hand. Her dress matched the car's paint exactly. Not a coincidence. She'd specified that color 2 years ago, mixing and remixing until the shade lived in her dreams. The crowd surged forward. Simone moved with them, pulled by gravity toward the vehicle. Her feet knew the way. Her hands ached to touch it. She reached the velvet rope first. Her fingers extended toward the hood, toward the subtle air intake she'd agonized over for 3 months, the one that reduced drag by 7% while looking like an artist's brushstroke. Her palm met cool metal. "Don't touch my car." The voice cut through the music, the chatter, everything. Marcus's voice. Amplified, public. Security materialized at her elbows. The crowd turned. Cameras swiveled. Simone's hand stayed on the hood for 1 more second. The metal was exactly the right temperature. The paint exactly the right texture, she knew because she'd specified both. Then hands on her arms, firm but not rough, guiding her backward. Away from the car, away from her work. Marcus watched from the stage, microphone in hand, that practiced smile never wavering. 6 years ago, Simone Carter had walked into Holloway Motors with a portfolio and a dream that felt inevitable. The receptionist took 20 minutes to find someone willing to interview her. The design director spent 10 minutes flipping through her sketches, his expression carefully neutral. "These are interesting," he'd said. "We'll be in touch." They were. 3 weeks later, a junior designer position. No office, just a desk in the open floor plan. No nameplate, just a laptop and a stack of NDAs. Her apartment in East Oakland reflected her salary. Small, loud, close to the BART station. Sketches covered every wall, taped up in overlapping layers. Car profiles, wheel designs, interior concepts. She drew in the morning before work, during lunch at her desk, at night until her hand cramped. Her mother called every Sunday. "They seeing you yet?" Always the same question. "Getting there, Mama." Always the same answer. The Vector 7 started as a napkin sketch during a staff meeting where no one asked her opinion. She'd drawn while the senior designers argued about market trends and focus groups. The lead designer, Peter Chen, noticed her sketch when the meeting ended. "That's actually good," he'd said, surprised enough to be honest. "Send it to me," she did. He passed it up. It landed on Marcus's desk with Peter's name attached. That was how it worked. Junior designers created. Senior designers presented. Marcus decided. The system was clear, efficient, profitable. Simone told herself it didn't matter whose name went on the presentations. The work mattered. The cars mattered. Her designs were rolling off assembly lines, and that was enough. It had to be enough. But the Vector 7 was different. Not a sedan for families or an SUV for suburbs. A flagship. A statement. The car that would define Holloway Motors for the next decade. Simone had drawn it in charcoal first, then ink, then digital rendering. She'd studied wind tunnels and aerodynamics, historical designs and future trends. She'd made the hood 3 millimeters lower than conventional wisdom suggested, the roofline 1 degree more aggressive. Every curve was intentional. Every angle was calculated. Every detail was hers. This time she documented everything. Timestamps, file histories, email chains. This time her name would stay attached. The security guards released Simone near the back of the ballroom. Their faces were apologetic but firm. Just doing their jobs. She smoothed her dress, lifted her chin, stayed standing. Marcus continued his presentation as if nothing had happened. The Vector 7 represents a complete reimagining of what a luxury vehicle can be. Every line, every curve, months of iteration, countless hours at the drawing board. His hands moved through the air, tracing shapes. Simone's shapes. The hood profile alone required 17 revisions before I was satisfied. His voice carried pride, ownership, certainty. Simone had done 32 revisions. The 17th was Marcus's only direct input, a suggestion she'd already incorporated in version 12. Journalists clustered near the stage, recording devices extended like offerings. Marcus fielded questions with practiced ease. "Can you tell us about your design process?" "A woman from Auto Design Quarterly." Marcus smiled. "It's instinctive, really. You see the car in your mind first, then you bring it to life. The Vector 7 came to me during a drive along Highway 1. The curves of the coastline, the way light hits water, it all translated into form." Simone's hands clenched. She'd drawn the first sketch in her apartment on a Tuesday night, while eating leftover Chinese food. No coastal drives. No poetic inspiration. Just work. "What about your design team?" "Another journalist." How collaborative was this process? "We have excellent people at Holloway Motors," Marcus deflected smoothly. "But vision, true vision, can't be designed by committee. The Vector 7 needed a singular perspective to reach its full potential." Peter Chen stood near the stage, nodding along. He caught Simone's eye across the room, then looked away quickly. A colleague materialized at Simone's side. "Jamal from engineering, one of 3 other black employees in the building. You okay?" He whispered. "No, you should say something." "And say what?" "That's my car. My design." Her voice stayed low, controlled. "He'll deny it. Peter will back him up. I'm just the junior designer who got too close to the display. You have proof. I have files on my laptop. He has lawyers and a PR team." Marcus wrapped up his presentation to thunderous applause. The crowd surged forward again, this time allowed to approach the car under watchful security eyes. Simone watched them touch her work, photograph her angles, admire her choices. Marcus descended from the stage, accepting congratulations, shaking hands. His assistant whispered something. He glanced toward the back of the room, directly at Simone. Their eyes met. He smiled that practiced smile, raised his champagne glass in a small, private toast, then turned away. Simone's car was a 12-year-old Honda with a temperamental starter and a passenger door that stuck in humid weather. She sat behind the wheel in the parking garage, key in the ignition but not turning it. Her hands shook too much to drive. Inside the ballroom, the party continued. Fast from the DJ pulsed through concrete and steel. Celebration, success, Marcus's triumph. Her phone buzzed. Text from Jamal. "You left. Don't blame you." Another from her mother. "How's the big launch?" "Send pictures." Simone stared at her hands on the steering wheel. These hands had drawn every line of the Vector 7. These hands had adjusted angles by fractions of degrees, had specified materials and finishes, had solved problems no one else could see. These hands Marcus had just ordered away from his car. The shaking stopped. Something else took its place, colder, harder, clearer. She pulled out her phone, opened the camera, scrolled back to last week. The photo she'd taken of her original sketch, the one she'd drawn 2 years ago. The Vector 7 in charcoal, dated and signed. She'd posted it on her private Instagram with the caption, "Dreams take time." 7 likes. Her mother, 2 cousins, 3 friends from art school. No one from Holloway Motors followed her personal account. She'd kept work and life separate, professional and private. Smart, she'd thought. Safe. Now it looked like silence. Like invisibility. Like permission. Her mother's voice echoed in memory, not from a phone call but from childhood. Simone was 12. Coming home from school crying because a teacher had given her project to another student. Said she didn't believe I could do work that good. Said someone must have helped me. Her mother had held her face in both hands. Then you make them see you. You make them look so close they can't deny it. You hear me? Simone heard. She started the car. The engine caught on the third try. Detroit in the 90s meant car culture in the blood. Simone's father worked the Ford plant. Came home with grease under his nails and automotive manuals under his arm. He'd spread them on the kitchen table while Simone did homework, pointing out engine components and frame structures, like other fathers pointed out constellations. See this line here? His finger traced a sedan's profile. That's not decoration. That's structure meeting beauty. That's somebody thinking. Simone was 8 when she drew her first car. Terrible proportions, impossible physics, but her father taped it to the refrigerator anyway. Keep going, he said. You got the eye. She kept going. Through middle school art classes and high school drafting courses. Through her father's layoff and her mother's second job. Through the college counselor who suggested nursing instead of art school. More practical for someone like you. Someone like you. The phrase hung in air, unspoken meanings heavy as Detroit winter. Art Center College of Design accepted her with a partial scholarship. She worked 3 jobs to cover the rest. In class, she was usually one of 2, sometimes the only one. Her professors praised her technical skills, but questioned her cultural fit with luxury brands. Translation clear. Message received. First job interview after graduation. 3 white men in a glass conference room, her portfolio between them. These are good, the creative director said. Really good. But we're looking for someone who fits our culture. There was that phrase again. Second interview. We had a black designer once. Didn't work out. Third interview. Have you considered positions in urban market vehicles? Holloway Motors was her 17th interview. The design director, white but at least direct, looked through her portfolio twice. You're talented. We can use that. But understand this is a team environment. Egos don't work here, she understood. Her ego could stay home. Her name could stay small. Her work could speak for itself, even if it spoke in someone else's voice. 6 years of that compromise. 6 years of watching Peter Chen present her concepts, Marcus approve her innovations, the company profit from her vision. 6 years of telling herself it was enough. The work mattered more than the credit, until the Vector 7. Until Marcus's hand on her shoulder 6 months ago, his voice warm with what seemed like respect. This is the one, Simone. This is going to change everything. She'd believed him, believed in him. Her father died 3 years ago, lungs finally giving out. Her mother still had the refrigerator drawing, yellowed and curling but still taped. He always knew, she told Simone at the funeral. Said you'd make them see you eventually. Eventually was supposed to be tonight. Simone's apartment felt smaller at midnight. Sketches on the walls seemed to watch her move from door to desk, laptop opening with its familiar chime. She created the folder 2 years ago. Vector 7 Development. Inside, subfolders arranged by date. She opened the first one, the initial sketch, created in Photoshop on a Tuesday night in March. File metadata clear, created by S. Carter, 11:47 p.m. March 14th. The hood line already there. The roof line already aggressive. The profile already pure. Second folder, CAD files. She'd built the 3D model over 6 weeks, refining curves until they achieved that impossible balance between beauty and physics. Every file time-stamped, every version saved, every iteration documented. Third folder, emails. The thread where she sent the design to Peter Chen. His response, "This is strong. Let me clean it up and present it upstairs." Her reply, "Thank you. Please keep my name attached." His non-answer, "Will do." Fourth folder, the presentation Peter gave to Marcus. Her design, Peter's name on the title slide. The notes section she wasn't supposed to see. Original concept from junior designer. Significantly refined by me. Significantly refined meant changing 2 angles she'd later changed back. 5th folder. Marcus's feedback emails. 17 messages over 4 months, each requesting modifications. She cross-referenced them with her version history. 14 of his requests matched changes she'd already made in earlier iterations. The other 3 contradicted aerodynamic principles she'd had to explain to engineering. 6th folder. The finalized design files submitted to manufacturing. Her name in the file properties. Her specifications in every note. Her hand in every detail. 7th folder. Tonight. Photos of Marcus on stage, the Vector 7 behind him. His words about vision and inspiration and singular perspective. Screenshots of Auto Design Quarterly's tweet, Marcus Holloway unveils the Vector 7, his most ambitious design yet. His design. His vision. His triumph. Simone's phone buzzed. Email from HR sent at 11:43 p.m. Reminder. All company files and designs remain company property per your employment agreement. Unauthorized disclosure may result in legal action. Sent 11 minutes ago. While she was sitting in her apartment, going through her own files, someone was watching. Her laptop camera had a piece of tape over it, habit from art school. But her location was trackable. Her files were on company servers despite being on her personal laptop. Her access left digital footprints. She wasn't invisible. Not to security, not to monitoring, only to credit, to recognition, to the simple acknowledgement of her work. Simone opened a new browser window, searched for intellectual property lawyers in Oakland. Found 17, sorted by reviews, closed the browser. Lawyers required money she didn't have, and time she couldn't afford. Fighting Holloway Motors meant fighting a company worth $3 billion. Fighting Marcus meant fighting the man whose face sold cars, whose vision defined brands, whose word was gospel in automotive circles. Her phone buzzed again. Text from a number not in her contacts. Saw what happened tonight. We should talk. No name. No context. Just 7 words and a digital thread that could be anything. Reporter, lawyer, friend, trap. Simone stared at the message until her screen went dark. Monday morning arrived dressed in fog. Simone sat in Holloway Motors lobby. Visitor badge clipped to her emerald green blazer. Same color as the car. Same color as Friday night. Deliberate. Her phone showed Marcus's response to her weekend email. See me Monday. 9 a.m. At 9:17 his assistant appeared. Mr. Holloway will see you now. The executive floor smelled like leather and expensive coffee. Marcus's office occupied the corner. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Awards lining the walls, scale models of every Holloway vehicle on custom shelving. The Vector 7 sat on his desk. Miniature but perfect, Simone. Marcus gestured to a chair without standing. I appreciate your patience, she sat. Placed her tablet on his desk. We need to discuss design attribution for the Vector 7. Do we? He leaned back, fingers steepled. Relaxed, curious, not concerned, I created that design. I have documentation, original files, timestamps, development history. The Vector 7 is my work. Marcus nodded slowly, like a teacher listening to a student's earnest but misguided answer. You contributed to the development process. That's acknowledged. I didn't contribute. I created it. She opened her tablet, turned it toward him. March 14th, 2 years ago. My first sketch. Every major design element is there. He glanced at the screen without leaning forward. Simone, you're a talented designer. No one disputes that. But you're also an employee of Holloway Motors. Every design you create on company time, using company resources, is company property. With proper attribution, the Vector 7 is a Holloway Motors vehicle. I'm the face of this company, the vision behind our brand. When I present a design, I'm presenting our collective effort, our shared mission. You called it your design, your vision. You took credit for work I did. Marcus's expression shifted, still calm but cooler now. I transformed your initial concept into something market viable. That transformation is design. That's leadership. She pulled up the email chain, the one where he requested changes she'd already made. Turned the tablet again. He didn't look. Who do you think they'll believe, Simone? Me with 20 years of automotive design leadership? Or a junior designer with 6 years' experience, claiming sole credit for our flagship vehicle? The office door opened. Security stood in the hallway. Marcus hadn't called them. They were already there. I think we're done here, Marcus said quietly. HR will be in touch regarding your future with the company. The cardboard box was standard issue. Holloway Motors logo on the side, handles that cut into palms. Simone's desk contents fit easily. A coffee mug from her mother, 3 pens, a succulent that had somehow survived 6 years of fluorescent lighting. Effective immediately. The HR director had avoided eye contact, sliding termination papers across his desk like they might bite. Violation of confidentiality policies, insubordination, poor cultural fit. There was that phrase again. Full circle. Peter Chen watched from his office as security escorted her through the design floor. Other designers suddenly found their screens fascinating. Jamal stood at his desk, jaw tight, hands clenched. She shook her head slightly. Don't. Not worth it. The lobby felt different as a former employee. Colder. The receptionist took her badge without meeting her eyes. Outside, news vans clustered near the entrance. Not for her. For Marcus, scheduled to give another interview about the Vector 7's revolutionary design process. She could see him through the glass doors, adjusting his tie, preparing his smile. Simone walked past the vans, box in arms, invisible again. Her Honda started on the second try, small victories. At home, the apartment felt exactly the same. Sketches on the walls, laptop on the desk, her whole career compressed into a cardboard box on the floor. She sat, stood, sat again. Her phone buzzed. Text from her mother. How's work, baby? Simone stared at the message. Couldn't answer. Not yet. Another buzz. Email from building management. Rent due Friday. Please submit payment to avoid late fees. Another buzz. Unknown number again. Miss Carter. This is Rachel Torres from Tech Design Collective. We need to talk about the Vector 7. I have information you need to hear. Simone's hands hovered over the keyboard. Tech Design Collective, she knew the name. Investigative journalism focused on tech and design industry practices. Rachel Torres had broken stories about patent theft, design plagiarism, corporate fraud. She could be legitimate. She could be bait. Simone looked at her laptop, at the files that proved everything. The files that had already cost her job. The files that could cost her everything else if Marcus's lawyers got involved. Her reflection stared back from the black screen. Her father's eyes. Her mother's resolve. She typed, when and where. The response came immediately. Tomorrow. Neutral location. Bring everything you have. This is bigger than you know. Simone's hands went still over the keyboard. Bigger than what? Bigger than her career? Bigger than one stolen design? Her phone rang. The unknown number, she answered. Ms. Carter? A woman's voice, sharp but not unkind. Don't respond to any HR communications. Don't sign anything. And check your email. I'm sending you something Marcus won't want you to see. The call ended. Simone refreshed her inbox. New message from Rachel Torres. Subject line, Vector 7 isn't the first. She opened it. 3 attachments. Design files. Comparison documents. The Holloway S-Class from 2019. The Holloway Urban from 2021. The Holloway Executive from 2023. Each one next to designs from fired employees. Each one nearly identical. Each one credited to Marcus Holloway's visionary leadership. Simone wasn't the first. She wasn't even the third. Tuesday morning came without purpose. No job to dress for. No commute to endure. Just Simone and her apartment and the weight of silence. Her mother called at 8 a.m. Simone let it go to voicemail. Listen to it afterward. Baby, you usually text by now. Everything okay? Call me. Everything was not okay. Simone was 34, unemployed, possibly unemployable if Marcus blacklisted her in the industry. Her savings would cover 3 months' rent. Maybe 4 if she stopped eating out, stopped everything but surviving. The sketches on her walls looked different in morning light. Not dreams anymore, evidence of wasted years. She opened her laptop, checked job listings out of habit, out of hope. Senior designer position at Meridian Auto. Sounds perfect. Until the fine print. References required from previous employer. Marcus would give her a reference. She could picture it. Talented but difficult. Cultural fit issues. Not recommended. Her phone buzzed. Email from Peter Chen. Subject line blank. She almost deleted it without reading. Simone, I'm sorry. I should have fought harder for your credit. I should have said something Friday night. I didn't, and I'll have to live with that. For what it's worth, everyone on the design floor knows the Vector 7 is yours. We just can't say it out loud. She closed the email. Silent solidarity was still silence. Another buzz. Rachel Torres. Meeting still on for today? 2 p.m. Caffeine Corner on Telegraph. I'll be at the back table. Simone looked at the time. 11:34 a.m. 2.5 hours to decide if hope or delusion was driving her. She stood, walked to her bedroom, opened her closet. The emerald green dress from Friday night hung there, still perfect, still the exact color of the Vector 7's paint. Her mother's voice in memory. Make them see you, but what if seeing wasn't enough? What if documentation, timestamps, proved truth? What if none of it mattered against power and money, and 20 years of Marcus Holloway's carefully constructed reputation? Simone sat on her bed, put her head in her hands, let herself feel it, the exhaustion, the betrayal, the crushing weight of being right and powerless at once. The apartment was quiet. No office sounds, no colleague chatter, no hum of creative energy. Just silence and stillness, and the terrifying question of what came next. Her phone screen glowed on the nightstand. 11:47 a.m. Timestamp like the one on her first Vector 7 sketch. She picked up the phone. Caffeine Corner smelled like espresso and old books. Rachel Torres sat at the back table as promised. Late 40s, grey streaks in dark hair, eyes that missed nothing. Ms. Carter. She didn't stand, just gestured to the empty chair. Thank you for coming. Simone sat, laptop bag on her knees like a shield. You said this was bigger than I knew. Rachel slid a folder across the table. Marcus Holloway has been stealing designs for 8 years. You're the 4th designer we've documented. There are probably more. The folder held printouts, side-by-side comparisons, original designs from terminated employees next to Holloway Motors vehicles. The similarities weren't subtle. Cameron Wright fired 2019. His S-Class design launched 6 months later. Rachel pointed to the first comparison. Jessica Huang fired 2021. Her urban concept, Marcus's next flagship. How did you find them? Simone's voice felt distant. Cameron reached out 2 years ago. Took us this long to build the case. Jessica came forward last year. We've been waiting for the right moment, the right vehicle. Rachel's eyes locked on Simone's. The Vector 7 is that moment. It's too visible, too celebrated. Marcus got arrogant. Simone opened her laptop, pulled up her documentation. I have everything. Original files, timestamps, development history, email chains. Rachel's expression shifted, relief mixed with something fiercer. Can you prove the designs are yours beyond employment agreements? Every file has my metadata. My process is documented step by step. The design language is consistent with my previous work, my art school portfolio. Simone scrolled through folders. Marcus's only contributions contradict basic aerodynamics. We'll need an expert witness, someone who can testify to design authenticity. Professor Martinez from Art Center. He taught my advanced automotive design course. He knows my style. Rachel made notes. Cameron and Jessica are willing to go public. With your case added, we have a pattern. Not one disgruntled employee. 3 designers, multiple vehicles, systematic theft. Marcus will bury us in lawyers. Probably. But we have something he doesn't. Rachel leaned forward. The truth documentation and a journalist who spent 2 years building an airtight case. Plus the Vector 7 launches to the public next month. Dealerships, pre-orders, major marketing campaign. If we expose him before that, his flagship becomes evidence of fraud, and his reputation collapses with it. Rachel closed her notebook. But I need to know you're ready. This won't be quiet. Your name will be everywhere. Marcus will fight dirty. Your life will get worse before it gets better. Simone thought of her empty apartment, her terminated position, her mother's unanswered call. Her life was already worse. When do we start? Rachel smiled for the first time. Article publishes Friday. I'll need your files by tomorrow night. Full interview on record. And Simone? She stood gathering her materials. Wear that green dress for the photo shoot. The one from launch night. Let's make sure everyone knows who really designed that car. Friday morning broke with headlines. Tech Design Collective's article went live at 6 a.m. Pacific. The man behind the machine. How Marcus Holloway built an empire on stolen designs. Simone's phone exploded. Texts, emails, calls from numbers she didn't recognize. News outlets, former colleagues, art school friends who'd seen her name. Her mother called at 6:47. Baby, you're on the news. CNN is talking about you. By 9 a.m., Holloway Motors stock had dropped 12%. By 10 a.m., Marcus issued a statement through his lawyers. These allegations are baseless and defamatory. Ms. Carter was terminated for cause. And her claims are the desperate actions of a disgruntled former employee. By 11 a.m., Professor Martinez had verified Simone's design authenticity on Twitter. By noon, Cameron Wright and Jessica Huang were trending, their stories amplified across social media. By 2 p.m., the Automotive Design Council announced an emergency investigation. At 3 p.m., Simone sat in Tech Design Collective's conference room for a live-streamed press conference. Rachel Torres beside her, Cameron and Jessica on the screen from their cities. Reporters crowded the room and filled the virtual waiting area. Simone wore the emerald green dress. Her hands were steady now. Ms. Carter, the first question came sharp. Marcus Holloway claims you're lying for revenge. How do you respond? Simone pulled up her laptop screen, shared it with the projector. This is the original Vector 7 sketch, created March 14th, 2 years ago. You can see the file metadata here. My name, the timestamp, the creation date. She advanced to the next slide. This is the CAD model I built over the following 6 weeks. Every iteration saved and dated. This is the email where I sent the design to my supervisor. This is his presentation to Mr. Holloway with my design and his name. The room was silent, except for camera clicks. This is Mr. Holloway's first feedback, requesting a change I'd already made in version 12. This is the second, contradicting aerodynamic principles. This is the final design submitted to manufacturing. My specifications, my notes, my name in the file properties. A reporter raised his hand. Mr. Holloway says all employee work is company property. It is, but proper attribution matters. Design credit matters. When he stood on that stage and called the Vector 7, his vision, his design, his singular perspective, that was theft, not of property, of recognition, of career. Of the truth, Rachel stood. We're not here to dispute employment contracts. We're here to expose a pattern. Cameron? Cameron Wright's face filled the screen. Black man, early 30s, tired eyes. Marcus took my S-Class design and fired me when I asked for credit. Said I didn't fit the culture. He used those exact words. Jessica? Jessica Huang appeared. Asian woman, mid-20s, angry and articulate. The urban was mine. Every curve, every innovation. He took it, took credit, and destroyed my reputation when I complained. I couldn't get hired anywhere for 2 years. Simone looked at the camera. We're not disgruntled. We're designers whose work was stolen by someone powerful enough to get away with it. Until now. The questions came rapid fire. Simone answered each one with documentation, with dates, with evidence that couldn't be denied or explained away. At 4:17 p.m., a reporter's phone buzzed, then another. Then the entire room seemed to vibrate with notifications. Miss Carter, a voice from the back. Marcus Holloway just resigned as CEO of Holloway Motors. The board is calling for a full audit of design attributions going back 10 years. The room erupted. Simone sat very still. Rachel leaned close. You did it. Simone looked at her hands. The ones Marcus had ordered away from his car. The ones that had drawn every line he'd claimed. We did it, she said quietly. 3 months later, Simone stood in a different conference room. Holloway Motors' board of directors sat around the table. New CEO, new general counsel, faces she'd only seen in company emails. The interim CEO, Margaret Chen, no relation to Peter, slid a document across the polished wood. Formal recognition of design credit for the Vector 7, retroactive compensation, and a public apology. We're also offering you your position back. Senior designer, your own team, full creative control. Simone read the document carefully. Every word mattered now. What happened to Peter? She had to ask. Demoted. He stays because he's cooperating with the audit. But he'll never present another designer's work as his own. The audit had found 12 cases of design theft. Marcus was facing multiple lawsuits. Cameron and Jessica had settlements and job offers. The industry was reckoning with decades of stolen credit and silenced voices. I appreciate the offer, Simone said quietly. But I'm declining, Margaret blinked. You're sure? We're prepared to meet any reasonable terms. I'm sure. Simone stood. I'm starting my own firm, Carter Design Collective. I already have 3 clients and a partnership with Tech Design Collective to audit design attribution across the industry. She gathered her things, paused at the door. But I'll consult on the Vector 7's public launch. That car deserves the truth, and I want my name on it properly. As the designer, Margaret nodded slowly. That's more than fair. Outside, Simone's phone buzzed. Text from her mother. Saw the news, so proud. Your father would be too. She stood in the parking lot, looking at the building where she'd spent 6 years being invisible. The place that had tried to erase her, silence her, reduce her to cultural fit and company property. She'd made them see her, finally, completely. Her Honda was gone, traded for something newer but still modest. She wasn't wealthy. The settlement helped, but starting a business meant risk and sacrifice. She was okay with that. Some things mattered more than security. Simone opened her car door, caught her reflection in the window. Same face, same hands, different certainty. The Vector 7 would launch in 2 weeks, with her name, with the truth, with recognition that could never be stolen again. She drove home to her apartment, still filled with sketches, still modest but hers. On the kitchen counter, a framed photo, her father holding a car manual, her at 8 years old drawing beside him. Made them see me. Daddy, she whispered to the image. The Vector 7's public launch happened on a Tuesday in golden afternoon light. Not in a ballroom this time, outside in an open plaza where anyone could see. Simone stood near the car as photographers circled. Her name was on the placard, designed by Simone Carter, not hidden in fine print, not buried in team credits, clear, visible. True. A young black girl approached with her father, eyes wide. Did you really make this car? I did. Simone knelt to her level. I drew it first, then built it on a computer, then worked with engineers to make it real. I want to design cars, too. The girl's voice was small but certain. Then draw. Draw everything. Save all your work. Put your name on it. And when someone tries to make you invisible. Simone touched the car's hood, the exact spot Marcus had told her not to touch. Don't let them. The father nodded thanks, eyes bright. They moved on. Rachel Torres appeared at Simone's shoulder. Hell of a story. Still can't believe we pulled it off. We didn't pull anything off. We just told the truth. Simone looked at the Vector 7, at her design in metal and glass and emerald green paint. The truth was always there. Just needed someone to listen. The sun caught the car's curves, highlighting every line Simone had agonized over, perfected, created. Her work, her vision, her name. In the crowd she spotted Cameron and Jessica. They raised their phones, taking photos, documenting their own presence at this moment. No longer invisible, no longer silent. Simone's mother called as the event wound down. "You did it, baby. Just like your father said you would. No, Mama, we did it. All of us who refused to stay invisible." She hung up, stood alone for a moment with her creation. The Vector 7 would roll off assembly lines now, drive on streets, appear in magazines. And every time someone asked who designed it, the answer would be clear. Not Marcus Holloway's vision, not corporate collaboration. Simone Carter, her hands, her skill, her name. Some victories aren't about winning. They're about being seen.